Okay, guys, just a little bit of a follow-up on my earlier one on Boris Johnson. I was looking back, it was January the 2nd that I actually suggested that he made the prediction that he would leave in the May, I said, or turned out to be the summer. Yeah, so it's with no joy, really, because it is with the understanding that what's coming is probably going to be a lot worse. But what interests me is it was expressed to me recently, and apparently this was Tony Blair's idea as well, that they should not only keep funding the troops in Ukraine, but send NATO, British, American troops into Ukraine in order to engage with the Russians, demoralize them, defeat them, cause heavy losses, so that morale among the Russian public would go down so much that a spontaneous revolution could happen to remove Putin. I guess there'll be nothing spontaneous about it. All the usual suspects like the Soros and the CIA will be behind it, but that was the thinking. And I think it's rather ironic that rather than Putin falling, Boris is the first to fall. Mario Draghi of Italy, is in an awful lot of trouble in Italy. Rutte in the Netherlands is also in severe difficulty. And look at what's going on with Biden. I mean, constitutionally, I'm not sure if there's the will to actually remove him, but it's ridiculous. So it looks to me like more like Putin's going to be the last one standing rather than any of the others with their failed policies. It does amuse me, though, how gung-ho people are to engage with Russia in all-out conflict and to begin World War III. Have they thought about the cost? Because after World War II, Britain was bankrupt, and they were still paying off America the debt right up until about 2005 when Tony Blair was in power around about there. This thing costs money. We already came out of COVID. We're massively in debt. The debt payment is getting ever higher. We're paying more on debt than definitely defense. It won't be too long, I should imagine, before debt is one of the biggest interest payments or one of the biggest payments we make out of our taxpayer funds. So have they thought about how much a potential war could cost, bearing in mind they usually just carpet bombing defenseless countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, not engaging with a world superpower backed by the emerging superpower, China, who control so much of the rare earth minerals, the commodities, and strategic points around the world, along with the increasing amount of allies in the Arab world and in Africa. And I just wonder as well how long the public will sustain the body bags coming home, because when people were killed in Afghanistan and Iraq, obviously people are upset and outraged and dismayed, but the death toll could be far, far, far higher, and I'm not sure the British public or the American public or any other country would put up long with the body bags arriving home before the governments were deposed, especially given the ridiculousness of fuel costs, people being told don't take baths as often, in Germany don't wash your clothes, just air them. Yeah, I mean, the price is going off the scale. So, one just wonders. I think they've made a massive miscalculation, all of them, when it comes to this. And Boris there talking about his achievements. Governments don't achieve anything. I mean, once you've reached a certain age, you've lived through numerous governments and your life probably never changed. And if it changed, it was never the result of anything the government did. They talk about these achievements. I don't think they even shift the scale. Governments don't create jobs. All governments do is waste taxpayers' money on ridiculous projects and siphon off money for their cronies, which is another huge scandal that's been going on in the Conservative Party with the PPE contracts, etc., etc. That is just a disgrace. Just wanted to say, though, Nadeem Zahawi is appointed by Boris in the evening. By the next morning, he stabbed him in the back. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is what these people are like. Just want to mention Nadeem Zahawi, the now Chancellor. During the expenses scandal, he is a multi-millionaire. I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's a multi-millionaire. And he was claiming off his taxpayers' expenses for heating the stables of his racehorses. Yeah? You don't own racehorses if you're just like anybody. So that's the respect he has for the taxpayer. That's really scaly. Plus, he was the founder of YouGov, one of the main polling companies. And I would suggest he probably doesn't have day-to-day active involvement in that company while he's being an MP or minister. So, well, if that happens. But, there's a massive conflict of interest for me when a major polling company is owned or was founded. We don't know how much day-to-day contact he has with that company is in the government. Then, of course, we have Priti Patel, which was rescued by Boris from ignominy after having to be sacked by Theresa May because of a little holiday to Israel, which wasn't really a holiday, and she stabbed him in the back. They all stabbed him in the back, and whoever comes next, they'll all stab him in the back. It's just a ruthless, disgusting game. They are all puppets. Nothing changes because all the rubbish they talk about they're doing is the peripheral little tiddlywinks issues around the edges, where the core issues are driven by the financial elite, the World Economic Forum, like we can now see. I'm coming to what's on here next.